Hey everybody, this is the familiar to some people, I'm sure, the GepRC Phantom. I, I broke it. Trying to put it back together. I got this new antenna, lollipop. And it's got nice, I got it because it looked like it had nice, strong coax. It goes in like that. And what happened was when I attach it here, wherever it happens up here, if it happens to pull hard, it doesn't affect too much anyways down here. But this wire bit me back in that it is stiff and nice, but it's too stiff and nice for this tiny connector. I'm going to take this guy apart. Again, micro quads, like the mods. Got the Runcam split 3 nano split, yeah. And I'm using these standoffs as fixers because I can actually, it's nice, you can use them like as thumb screws, you know, you can, well I can get a little grip on them and loosen them and tighten them. They're just nylon, so I don't expect they'll last a long time. Yeah, so let's get to it. I'm going to take the top plate off and I'll show you where that connector mates up. These are the best. I love working on micros because you don't need any space, you know. I don't need a bench or nothing. This is just like one of those card tables or whatever, TV dinner tables. Take it off. Let's see if I can leave the camera in though. There we go. Anyway, it's got a Runcam split. Just put that in, and this is why the whole problem started. I was like, oh, I'll put that Runcam in and upgrade the antenna. So because I got these giant prop protectors on it, this whole space on the bottom here is like in between. It's more or less protected. You know, it might as well be in the frame, like it's nice and protected. So GepRC, being the great quality company that they seem to be, put 20mm holes just in case you want to have a 20mm flight controller. I put it under there, put a nice RGB light there. Got a buzzer and a nice bright always on red single color LED that just goes straight to the battery. So I'm always paranoid about losing it because I have lost it. They're so easy to lose in long grass. So anyways, the issue is here. This little spot right there. Now don't worry, I got some macros coming up for you. Can I get closer? Can I get closer? Right here? So yeah, I'm going to fix that up. What I'm going to do is reflow it. Well, first to put lots of flux on it. Now, I'll show you in the macros. There's some extra pins here, 4 of them by the look of it. And I'm going to beep them out and see if they correspond to these pads. Particularly the middle pad, because the middle pad is tiny. And I'll be able to get something on it, but man, it's tiny. So this is the connector. You can see inside the connector is part of the, I guess, male circuit board side of the connector. It came right off. Anyway, you can see, where did I put that? I'll show you what is supposed to be on it that was left behind. So that's pretty much the middle and circuit board side of the connector. So that's basically gonna have that. Those two are supposed to get together, but half of it's stuck inside that connector. So maybe I'll see what those pads are right there. Trick is use lots of ground. Use the ground as a strain relief. That's the damage. We're going to fix it. There's one thing I noticed about all this custom stuff, high-tech electronics. Like, I consider this stuff really high-tech. Like, look how small it is. But there's hardly any documentation. Like, there's like whatever, the pinouts, you know, the pad outs or whatever, what you're going to solder what to. But I'm always looking up chips, you know, seeing what pin is what, and, you know, get an idea what it does. You know, maybe I can do something different with it. I love modding stuff, so I don't know. Maybe I can. I don't know. On this one, I only got 3 UARTs. And I believe they're all used. So I looked up, you know, the whatever, the ST blah 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 411 F411, and there is only 3. I was like, oh, maybe I can tack them on some unused pins, IO pins or whatever. But nope, there's none left. Got none left. Trying to figure out a workaround, come up with something. Because these FlySky micro receivers are pretty simplistic. They don't have a whole lot of extra functionality. But I might be able to pull something out of it. I think I can do this in situ. You know, it's probably better. It's nice and stable. Rather than taking this off. What I'm going to do is reflow that. First, put lots of flux on it. And I'm going to reflow it, clean it. Reflow the pads, make them nice and clean. And then I'll cut and strip this. We'll solder it in, and I'll put some silicone on it this time. I'm just kind of sizing it up here. This is where it pokes out, right? So let's size it up real quick. Just throw this back on. It'll sit. The nice thing is it kind of clicks in, so I don't have to bolt it in again. And I'll go to the side that it's going to be on. I'm going to zip tie it here. So I want it to be fairly stiff. I can also put a zip tie, you know, shrink wrap to it to hold it up, but I think that's good. Although it would be nice to get it away from the chassis. Maybe I'll leave it as it is. I'll leave it as it is. I can always make it shorter. I don't have a Ronco brand cable stretcher, so I'll err on the caution side. So I'm going to reflow this first. Now maybe I can get a macro with that. Here's some of the stuff I use for soldering or repairing. You need lots of flux, right? Lots of flux. Flux is your friend. And to get the flux off, clean a degreaser. MG Chemicals also makes a specific flux remover. Get rid of your flux. And then of course I got solder, 6040 lead. Lead's nice. Doesn't make you crazy. I've been using it for over 30 years. And this is solder wick. I don't know if anyone's seen this. And what this solder wick does is lets you suck up the solder off the solder pads and make them clean again, rather than keep building up solder. And it's like a woven copper wire. Works great. So the idea is heat it up, and I'm going to pull it gently this way, and it'll hopefully take that off. Clean it up nice. Clean it up a bit more. Never hurts. A little more flux on there. I just use this Q-tip. Now it is important to get rid of the flux once you're done, unfortunately. Because I don't know if it makes a big difference, but at high frequencies, especially for computers and stuff, it's somewhat conductive. So better safe than sorry. Get rid of your flux. Get your flux off. Better than leave your flux on. What am I looking for now? My solder. I had that a second ago. It's right here. Got the flux at the ready. Got the iron. Getting hot. Should be hot now. Let's turn it up a bit. Get the old solder wick. Right here. Just get it about there. Should be good. Just slowly pull it like that. See? Go down here. This must be a ground because it's really sticky. Oh yeah, of course it's a ground. And the one in the middle, I'm not going to do because it's fine. I'm just going to beep out those 4 pads there and see what they are, if I can. If you wonder what beeping out means, you use the meter and it's got a special mode where if anything's short, it beeps. So like a ground plane. If I touch ground right here, I should be able to find ground somewhere else. There's not too much up here. Eat my words. One of these, no, it's the LEDs. Well, I can use the other ground pad. See that? Put that. That's a ground pad right there. Huh. Yeah. So the outside pads are ground. Get on this inside pad here. I should be doing this in macro, I guess. And bupkis. So now we're going to prep this guy. It's pretty much the same length. I'm going to lose some length to stripping it in one nut. It's just a card table that I'm working at here. So there we go. Warranty is void. So I'm going to give myself lots to play with here. Strip back, I don't know about that much. There we go. Carefully just starting at the top, pick it up. It's hard when it's this small, but get in the micro quads. Keyword is micro. It's a little more delicate. But the nice thing is this pad is about all the space I need. I'm going to twist this up nice and tight. Tight like a tiger. Nice and tight because I want lots of material here. It'll flow slightly under the jacket, the solder, and make this very, very strong. I'm going to use this as a strain relief, the primary one anyways. Give it a burl, as Dave would say. So it's going to have to go something like this. I wonder what side is better. I don't think it matters. I think they are going to do the other side. It's close to where I'm going to go out that side of the craft, so I'll put it like that. So, okay, here's a quick macro of the finished joint. It's a little tricky getting it close, nice and close. There it is. Should be good. Job's a good one. I'll check the ground, beep it out. But you see there's only that one trace and it goes straight to the chip. There's the joint. And you see the center signal This goes through that one component and then onto that chip there. Okay, so that's all soldered up, nice and nice. Just got to clean off the flux, put a little bit of epoxy on it, and then just reassemble the top plate, and I guess it's good to fly. We'll give it a shot. I'm just going to quickly beep out those joints. By beeping out, this is what I usually mean. The old multimeter. If you don't have a multimeter, you should get one. So I know all these pads here are ground, so I'm going to touch the ground on the outside. Oh, I'm getting continuity. And what I don't want is continuity, a beep between the center and the ground. And nope, right beside it, we're good. So that means the solder joint's good, it's not touching anything else. It's just on its own, and I can test its integrity a little bit just by seeing if I can get it to jump to this component. Yeah, I won't go the other side though, because it's probably like a filter cap or something. In the cleanup, I'm just going to use the old cleaner degreaser. This is just like alcohol, various types of alcohol. Seems to work pretty decent if you dab it off. Actually, you know what I should do? Oop. Happens to the best of us. Alright. Try and clean this all up. So, I'm just going to put some epoxy here, mostly at the back part where the circuit board is. That ain't going nowhere, because you can kind of see when I bend it, it takes a radius. It's because I got lots of solder down underneath the jacket there. So, epoxy time. This is epoxy. This is nice epoxy. This is clear epoxy. It's got it from Amazon. It's got a nice kind of twist off top, resealable top. And the way epoxy works is, it's like a syringe style thing, and you squeeze out equal parts, the epoxy inside, and then put the cap on, and you mix the two together thoroughly, and you have 10 minutes. Depends on the epoxy and the hardener and that. But yeah, I say on average you get about 10 minutes, if that, before it starts to harden up. It takes overnight. It takes a while to cure up good and hard. But once it's done, your thing ain't going nowhere. So what I'll do is I'll just take a Q-tip and cut the end off. I'll use that as my stir applicator. So you know what I'll do, even get fancy dancies. Do a little side cut there. A little more spread for the epoxy. So epoxy's messy. Amazon's finest. This should come out. There we go. Very good. It'll only go in one way. I need next to none, but the problem is, like anything that's designed to use, that's about it. That's about all I need. That wasn't so bad. A lot of times, they force you to use more than you really need. There we go. It only goes in one way, which is good. If you put it in backwards, well, it glues itself in because we put the hardener with it. Now, let's mix this all together for a little bit. Right. Every time I make epoxy, I try and think of anything else I need to epoxy. So, like I said, let's get this on the edge if possible. And that's about it. That's about the build. I'll throw the top on so I don't lose it like I lose everything else. And I'll do another video about this whoop. Well, I call it a pick whoop. Let's pop the roof back on. There we go, buttoned up. Just let that dry. Epoxy dry. And that's the pick whoop. Let's get zip tied up here. I got the whoop bit finally all finished off. Gonna go give it a shot out at the backyard. Welcome to the back porch. I got all my gear ready. We're gonna test out the pick whoop or the whoop pick. The pick whoop.